Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nessa and I'm an author from Toronto, Canada, and I publish under the pen name and Sage. I write a lot of mystery, a lot of fantasy, paranormal, lots of mayhem, and all of that fun stuff. To date, I've published 23 books, some traditional, some indie. And so on this channel, if you are new here, we should do a little bit of housekeeping. But if this is your first time stopping by, then you should know that I try to publish a lot of videos here. I post videos once a week, and I usually talk about all things author, creative. I talk about tools. I talk about different craft ideas, how to write, how to do certain things. I also talk about planning because I love to plan. So if you like planner videos or how an author plots and plans and all of that stuff, then we do that here. Pretty much anything that helps me in my daily career as a author, full-time creative. I don't just do authoring. I also do cover design, and I am also a book coach. I currently have a roster of 14 clients. I'm usually alternating somewhere between 10 and 20 clients. And so right now I'm with 14 different clients. Some come, some go because books get finished. And so I do a lot of book coaching as well. So whatever knowledge that I have to impart, I try to impart it here. And I do my best to kind of do a scope of everything so we could keep this channel moving and grow. And so if you have suggestions for something that you want to see, I always ask you at the end of every video. I'll do it now at the beginning. Tell me in the comments because I do want to hear what you want to see more of on this channel. But today, what I definitely want to do is an author chat. So I try to do these once a month. There's a couple of videos that I try to do once a month. I usually try to do an author chat once a month to kind of catch you up on what I'm doing on the writing side of things, because that is the bulk of the channel. And then I also try to do a planner video once a month. Now, as you may know this, for this author chat, we're in a slightly different area of the house. We are in my kind of like witchy plotting area. And there's a reason for that. We're going to talk about it because I'm very, very excited about the reason for it. So I didn't want to set everything up like downstairs in the library and then move all this stuff. It's a lot of stuff, right? I'm sure you know, it's a lot of junk to move around. So I figured we'll just do it here. Since this is pretty much an informal video where I just kind of stand here or sit down there and talk to you guys, I figured why not do it in a slightly different scenario. If you want to see some of my recent videos, I did do a vlog style video of a signing event that I did here semi-locally. I do have a few more coming up. Make sure you check my events tab on my website if you want to see where I'll be signing or what podcasts I'm going to be on. So I try to update that. Sometimes I forget, but I go back and update when I forget. But there's a whole bunch of stuff happening on the writing side of things, and I am so excited to share it. So I think what we'll do is I'll do a quick wrap up of everything not writing related so you can kind of see what I did for the month, and then we'll get into the meat. So what did I do? Also, if you hear any clanging around, it's going to be long weekend here. When you see this, it is a long weekend here in Canada. And so people are getting ready. I have family over and they're getting ready for the long weekend because we're doing like a whole thing here. But what did I do that is not writing related this month? So the main thing is on the cover design side of things. So I've dropped the pre-made. I'll be working on another one very shortly. I designed some covers for inspiration for myself, for what we're going to talk about next. And I also have handed in my covers for the rest of Orchard Hollow. So Orchard Hollow is my paranormal cozy mystery series. I will have more announcements on that soon. There's going to be another, like a surprise announcement, but the final book in that series has been handed into the publisher. And so because I made it a stipulation in my contract that I want to do my own covers, what I ended up doing is just making them in bulk and getting them done so I don't have to think about them and I can concentrate on writing. So those have been sent off. As far as book coaching goes, it's pretty much, you know, up to the par to course or whatever that saying is. I don't know what the saying is. Whatever the saying is, but it's always the same. Usually, like I have my clients, we have calls, I go through their manuscripts, we chat, we brainstorm, we do all the things. So that's kind of everything that's not directly writing related. Personal life wise, we're all having a great time here. It's finally summer. Winter is not my thing. I know that I am pale as a ghost. And so you would think that winter would be my thing because I don't go out in the sun, apparently. I live in a burrow of my house where I write my silly little stories, But I do really love summer because I don't like to be cold. And I really like to be warm. And so I do really like summer, and it's finally summer here in Toronto, and we are really enjoying it. I am trying to write on the balcony pretty much every day when it's not so hot that I want to melt. And I go out for walks with my daughter regularly. So we try to do outside things. We are lucky enough to live in an area where we have one of the biggest, I guess it is the biggest park in Toronto. We're kind of in that area, and we're also very close to the lake. And so we're kind of in this area where we can walk to all different kinds of places. And so I'm trying to take advantage of it as much as I can, because believe me when I tell you, when winter hits Toronto, it is not fun. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go, and we're stranded. Just because of where we are. We're not stranded. We can drive places, but it's not exciting. So on the personal side of things, we're having fun. We're going to be gone. So there won't be, I'll make announcements, but there won't be videos for 2 weeks in upcoming in August, kind of on the July, August situation. Or maybe they both fall into August. Doesn't matter. But we are going away to a cottage in New Brunswick. So my husband's family, they have cottages in New Brunswick, and they're all in the same area. And everybody kind of meets once a year because everyone has their own cottage in the same spot. And so they meet once a year, and everybody comes, and it's going to be our first time going with the baby. And we're so excited because there's other kids all her age there. And it's just this really beautiful thing to kind of have so much family from all over the place come together at the same time every year. And you already have, obviously, a place to stay. There is no Wi-Fi. Phones are barely working. It really is a really peaceful, detach from the world and work, and just relax kind of vacation. A lot of times I find when you go on vacation, it still seems to be work. I bring my work sometimes with me, where I'll bring my writing with me and all that stuff. But when we go there, I really don't do anything except just chill out. And it's kind of a reset button for me, which I definitely need because I've been doing a lot, as we'll talk about now. So on the writing side, so some things, I'll get to kind of the most exciting part, for me at least, but some things. So I said I handed in the manuscript for the final book on Orchard Hollow. I am working on another little surprise in that series that I've also handed in. And the next thing I'm starting to do is Orchard Hollow. So I haven't really announced it yet, but it's been talked about. And I believe there was already a listing on the signing of that in Publishers Marketplace. But Orchard Hollow is getting a spin-off series. And so that series, I have to start working on it. So I am going to be plotting that series. And I have an idea because it's a cozy mystery. I already kind of have a very, I've written enough of them. I've written a book on how to write them, and I ghostwrite cozy mysteries as well. And so I have a system that works for me where I can kind of bang out a plot pretty quickly. I have a bank in my head and on notebooks of different plots that I could use and pull from that I haven't used yet. When an idea comes to me, I just write it down and I kind of expand on it more, almost like free journaling. And then I'll use that for books. And so I kind of already have an idea for this. I know the idea for the full story. I won't talk about it here because we haven't done any of the big announcements. But I have done some thoughts. I've done some brainstorming. I know the world already is kind of basically created, but it's kind of a different side of this Orchard Hollow world that you're used to if you've been reading the books, which is really fun. I get to play with a whole different kind of magic and supernatural type of thing, and that's going to be super exciting. And the actual mystery itself, the way I'm structuring it is, it's got a cool, trendy trope, I guess I want to say, to it. I know it's so hard not to say and not to give things away, but I am super excited for that part of the story because I think it's going to add a different level to the paranormal cozy mysteries by combining it with another, not genre, but trope. Trope/genre. So that's going to be super, super exciting. So I'm plotting that. And what I did, the bulk of my July is going to look like. So I'm part of a mastermind group, and they do this thing. It's like a writing camp, a virtual writing camp every year. And you have like a cabin and cabin mates, and you kind of submit new material, and you all critique each other and help each other out. And basically like a sounding board, like alpha readers for your project. And the project I'm going to be working on, so it's all behind me. The working title on this is Bone to Bone, Blood to Blood. It's not going to be the title, but I do have this. It was a card, and it said Bone to Bone, Blood to Blood, and that's an old Germanic, I guess, myth. More like a charm. It's a charm that they used to say, and it's so old that it's very hard to find any information on it. But it always resonated with me, and so I always have it framed somewhere in like kind of like my witchy area, and I wanted to use that as a jumping off board for the atmosphere that's going to be set in this new project. And the new project is, I don't know if you're ready for this because it's so different for me, but it is a gothic romantasy that obviously has a mystery in it. So there's going to be a mystery because mystery is my thing. But a gothic romantasy, like these are all things that I've never worked on before. I've read a lot in the two genres, and I haven't seen them really combined before. I'm very, very excited. So I did like a little bit of a teaser on some social media things, and I've talked about it a little bit more. If you've missed those, the kind of like the world building in this, so there is magic in this world. It's all very much like 1800s kind of Victorian England feel to it, but with magic, which is where like the Gothic would really come from. It's dark, it's atmospheric, it's moody, and what makes it darker is the cost for using magic in this world. So there are 36 gems. I'm kind of going to give you like the bird's overview. There are 36 gems that were created long, long ago in sets of threes. And whoever has these gems can basically cast the magic that these gems provide. Now, the cost for casting a gem or using the magic is a sliver of one's humanity. And so the more you use the magic, the more that you become less human and more of a beast, basically. And so there are these beasts that stalk these Gothic streets that used to be human. There is no humanity left in them. You better run when you see them. They are vicious, they are fatal, and they're all the things that we are afraid to become. And so that's kind of like the concept for this world. The romantasy part, or the romance part, I guess, is it's very heavy. Enemies to lovers. There's going to be forced proximity, one bed, like all the goodies. So I am very, very excited about that. So if you know me, you know that writing dialogue and banter and relationships between people is my jam. And so I don't know why it took me so long to write basically like kind of like a romance. I don't know why it took me so long. I think I was afraid. I think I'm ready now. Now, I have the project plotted. I'm not going to zoom in because the thing about this project is I want to shop it around. So I think I'm going to query it to agents just to see how that goes and to do the process, because I haven't done the process in a very long time of querying. And so I kind of want to query this to agents. I am unagented right now, and so I figured this is the perfect, because this is like a big scope project, and because the way that I'm plotting it right now, it's a standalone. Could be plotted if needed for like a trilogy or a duology, but right now I'm plotting it as a standalone, and so I think it's the perfect project to shop around. As far as like querying and finding an agent goes. And so I've plotted it out, and I've used something else that's new to me. I was going to save the cat. Don't want to save the cat on this one. The cat does not need to be saved here. It was too simplistic for what I needed it to be. I find it didn't help me figure out the story. It didn't help me flesh out some ideas that I had. And so I'm using the 3-act, 9-beat structure for this. So essentially what the 3-act, 9-beat, 27-chapter structure is you get each act is divided into threes, and then threes and threes. So you have 9 beats per act. And so every kind of section, so if you have like a section, this might be easier to see on camera because of the color, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's act 2. They're all the same, color coded. And so the way that the acts work is that you have a setup then an inciting incident, or I guess not an inciting incident. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. It's basically like a twist, a plot twist, or something that gets in the way. I can't think of words right now, but essentially it's the way that you would have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So you would have like the before, the middle, and the resolution. And so you have like the setup, the thing that gets in the way, and then the resolution to that. And every single one of these is divided into like, so the setup, what gets in the way, resolution. I'm butchering the words here. But I honestly, I went up here. I didn't expect to be breaking down this for you. I will actually, you know what I'll do? I will link the video of a good breakdown of this, so you can see it much better. It's a great system to use. And I think it's been around for a while. But essentially, this whole section will also be, these first 3 beats are also the setup. And the second 3 beats of the act are actually the problematic part, like the thing that gets in the way of the full act, and then the resolution of this act. And then each act, so Act 1 is the setup, and Act 2 is kind of like where the problems occur, and Act 3 is resolution. So everything is like a mirror of each other. And I love that because I have never thought about plotting this way. And it's honestly opened up my eyes. And so the other thing that I did, so I used that for kind of like the mystery and the big epic discoveries that will happen. I used the 3-act, the 9-beat, 27 chapters for the main plot. And then what I did in the blue, these dark blues here, so what I did was I went through them afterwards and I used romancing the beat as an underlying plotting for the romance. And so now I've got, the reason I did this, so let's talk about why I did this, because this is very new to me. And usually the way I plot, if you've read my book, Crafting Cozies, then you know that the way I plot cozy mysteries is very different from this, right? Like it's a very linear and we just go forward and we do it. This is all 2 layers. And the reason I wanted to do it is because I don't want anyone to read this book and say that it's not really a romance because the romance is secondary. It's not really fantasy because the fantasy is secondary. There are some books I read that were classified as romantasy or fantasy romance. And I felt that you could take one out and it would still, the other story would be just fine. Nothing would change in the other story, which means that it wasn't that classification of genre in the first place. And I wanted to make sure that the romance could not live without the fantasy, that both of them were very much a byproduct of this world. And so that's why I have 2 different plot lines that simultaneously work together. So they play off of each other to create a true romantasy, I think, but gothic, because it's, you know, the feels and the atmosphere, and it's all going to be like very, very dark. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. I don't have comps for this. Actually, no, I've thought about somewhat comps for this just to kind of like describe it to people. And I think the only ones I can come up with now, and again, I haven't written the book, so the comps will change after I wrote the book. Obviously, this is just from plotting and ideas, but my comps right now are Belladonna meets Nancy Drew with monsters. So that's kind of the thought process for this one as it is right now. Very fresh, very new, nothing huge is happening. And that's been where I am at with writing. I've just finished off the last final thing in Orchard Hollow, which is bittersweet. I'm so sad. Like I'm happy and I'm sad. Oh, a fun thing I got done is I commissioned a custom Funko Pop of Harry Houdini and the raccoon. And you guys, I'm going to share it once I get him in, because obviously the creator has to like make it, mold it, sculpt it, paint it, the whole thing. But when I tell you it's going to be the cutest custom Funko Pop I have so far have in my collection, because I'm a little bit behind on commissioning them. I only have like Cortega and Shadowhurst, Billy from Shadowhurst done. Sid and Billy are the only 2 I have. And I need one for every series, right? And Orchard Hollow is wrapped up, so time to get Harry. I showed it to my husband and he is so obsessed with it. It is so cute. I can't wait to get it in and share it to you. And finally enough, the creator is actually from New Brunswick as well, which is really cool. A small world, right? Because we're going to be there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to pick it out, but still very cool. So yeah, that's wrapped up. I'm doing final edits on that, on my own edits, before sending it off to my editor. And then starting July 1st, this baby is getting written. I already have kind of like the opening scene, not the full chapter, not the chapter, a beat. The opening scene done, and it's very voicey. I'm writing this third person, but it's going to be third person close, so you can actually, so there's no head hopping, right? And every chapter is going to be, that's the one thing I still have left to do, is I got to color code whose head we're going to be in for these chapters. If there's going to be like a page break, obviously I'll get two colors, but I need to make sure there's no head hopping, because with third person, it's very easy to mess up and like really like F up the head hopping situation. So trying to make sure that it's close enough in third that we really get the perspective of who we're in. But I cannot wait for this. This is like my baby right now. This is my heart book, I think, right now. That's where we're at. And so I will keep you posted on all of that. So hopefully you enjoyed this author chat. I know I blabbed on a lot, but that is just how excited I am about this project. If you have any questions for me on what I'm doing, make sure that you comment below, and make sure that you are subscribed if you're not already. And if you are, thank you. I love you so much. And I'm so excited that you're here. And with that said, I'm going to end this here, and I'm going to go enjoy more of the sunshine and get ready for this big barbecue we're having. And I hope you stay magical, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye.